Hi everybody, today is Sunday, June 28th, and it's almost 12:30 in the afternoon, Central Standard Time, and I just wanted to show you the progress that my little hosta here that's on the side of my house. It's growing extremely well, and this is the first time I think that I've ever seen any flowers on it. And it actually never had like any type of a flowering branch or shoot. I don't know what you would call it, but this is just amazing, and I'm so happy because it was struggling for a few years here. We had some summers that were very bad drought conditions, and the sun is really intense on the side of the house for the good majority of the day, and this little hosta kept on getting burnt up, and so I just wanted to show you that. And then here's little Shayla, and she was a good girl. Yes, you were. There were some kids that were walking by out front, and Shayla didn't bark at them. She was a good little girl. And my neighbor's dog, Bella, that's a couple doors down, was barking at the kids, and one of the kids screamed because they were afraid, and that's what prompted me to come around by my gate to see what was going on. And there's just 3 little kids walking by, and I said hi to them, and Shayla didn't bark. She just, sniffed the air and looked at the kids walking by, and she was a good little girl. Yeah. But yeah, it's quite humid. So, yes, you were. You were a good little girl. Yeah. And it was quite gray and overcast, but now the sun is popping out, so it will get intense, and the humidity is just kind of very high. But it's kind of a quiet Sunday. And tomorrow is when my new roof is supposed to be put on, and they are supposed to come anywhere between 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So Nathan and I have to be up by 6 a.m., I would say, to take care of Shayla, walk her, feed her, and all that, and wipe the cobwebs out of our eyes and be alert and move the cars so that the roofing contractors can park their vehicles, and the delivery of the shingles that was supposed to happen on Friday it's gonna come on Monday morning. The project manager guy said he called me yesterday because I had left a voicemail at the office, and I sent a text to, I guess he's just the sales guy. I thought he was my contact, from the beginning to the end, but apparently he was just the salesman. So I have a contact now for the project manager in case there's any problems with the actual installation. So Nathan Ubered quite late last night. He got home, I think it was 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe 4:30, because he signed up for it's called a Quest through Uber Eats. He's been doing Uber Eats for, I want to say, a year and a half now. It was only supposed to be like a 6-month thing, but it's now going on a year and a half. And so we just got up now, so we were supposed to be cycling back so we could be up early Monday morning for the roof. Oh, plane is going overhead, and the plane is flying kind of low, so I wonder why their route is low. I don't know if there's supposed to be storms or not. I looked on the weather app on my phone, which isn't always, it isn't very accurate, but around, it says 5 p.m., there's a 51% chance of rain, and we might have some thunderstorms today, which I didn't see in the forecast the other day. So, Shayla's just chilling out, huh? Chilling out in our grass and clover and other weeds here. She's just chilling out. And that's where the bunnies usually take shelter. You know, and then they squeeze through my gate somehow. And they get into my backyard because they like our backyard, right? Yeah, Shayla. They like our yard except for when we're out here. So, but anyway, just thought I would send a short video here. And today we have to figure out a way to put some painter's tarps or whatever in the garage, because when I had the roof done in 2019, that mom and pop roofing company didn't, forewarn us and didn't prepare us too well. And when they ripped the old roof off and decking and whatnot, a lot of black, debris and old shingle debris fell through the entire garage. And we're still, finding, debris that fell through. So I remember being in the garage when they started, the tear off, and I could see, through the roof of the garage, you could see the sky. I was like, oh man. So, yeah, we've got to be better prepared this time. So that means Nathan's going to have to go to Menards, because he has a gift card or something like that, or some type of credit balance or something. So he needs to get some of those painter's tarps, and we have duct tape, and we have one of those grabber things, and he is planning on putting that up. There's beams that my dad put, years ago, decades ago, and that's how he, packed stuff in the garage up on the rafters. Because I used to be able to park my car in the garage, but when Nathan came home with a big huge cabinet from his previous job at MB Financial, because they were closing down that corporate office because Fifth Third Bank bought MB. And Nathan shows up one day with this big huge cabinet thing, and it's been in the garage ever since. It was supposed to be eventually moved into the house to have a place for me to put my clothes that I want to access on a easy basis, and that hasn't happened yet. So yeah, there's quite a few projects that need to be accomplished here. Sometimes other things pop up. Life doesn't always go the way we want it to sometimes, and he's had to deal with a bunch of crises with his mom, and over there at the condo, as well as other things with her, as well as medical stuff happening with me. I can't do as much as I used to when I was younger, and so I try to do what I can until my body says, nope, no more, not today. Take a rest. So yeah, you can only do so much in a day, and so I try to do a little something, and oh, there's a nice breeze right now. Oh, well, that definitely helps. Yeah. And so we've got this is a wild weed, and then there's some thistles that look like they're gonna blossom some flowers. So the bees will probably like that. So maybe we'll keep this for right now. I don't know. But some of these still need to be pulled. And, Nathan did get the thistles that were over here that were trying to choke out my hostas. And we've got some bags of mulch left to use. Because we got them on sale at Menards. So that was good. And, so this hosta has always been huge right here. And it has white flowers. But something is eating it. Something is definitely eating the leaves on this hosta. This one, they really chomped that one. Oh my goodness. I think I see a sawfly. I'm gonna have to spray the dang hosta. Oh, there's another plane. Yep, you can see it. It's flying below the clouds. Yeah, so we're in the path of Midway Airport. We have Chicago. In Chicago, we have O'Hare Airport and Midway. And my suburb is in the path of Midway Airport, I believe. And you're going to find the spot where you were laying down? Huh? Yeah, you found the spot where you were laying down, huh? Yeah? Alright, I just got to make sure she doesn't eat any rabbit poop or squirrel poop. She tends to sniff that out. Oh, something's pulling her. When we first came out in the backyard, she wanted to go over here by by this little mini garden I have over here. And, we still have to pull some weeds in here. And it was really good conditions last week to do so, but she thinks something is in where the yellow rose bush is. What are you doing? What are you doing? And Nathan hasn't pulled the weeds here, and I think it's because he made the comments, he's like, I wish you would have never planted anything right up along the house. I'm like, well, it's not like it's a tree. Trees will get huge over time, and their roots, will sometimes, do damage to the foundation or, pipes and stuff. But little plants like this doesn't hurt anything, and it was the best spot to plant these. The salvia, there's another Asiatic lily there on the end. This yellow rose bush has been doing well. I've got to cut off the dead ones though, so we can get new roses. And the lily of the valley, like the conditions over here. So I just planted the lily of the valley last year. And we had, in the spring, I remember doing a video and posting it here on my channel. And I think the middle one there had the little lily of the valley flowers, the white little flowers. So we just gotta hope that those take root and get more established. What are you trying to do? What are you smelling? What's the matter? So anyway, maybe when the clover gets high enough, I'll be able to pull it. And I'll just have to read this myself, because apparently, subconsciously, Nathan doesn't want to pull the weeds here, because he doesn't think that there should be plants here. So, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, well, and then here's my 2 cherry tomato plants, and they're doing really well. I have to spritz them with some water here. And we've got some new tomatoes growing on here. Yeah. And then there's a tomato there. Yeah, so they're doing really well. There's some yellow flowers, so that means tomatoes. So, either I smell a skunk or the neighbor that lives a couple doors down the other side of me is smoking their special cigarettes. And that smell is just kind of atrocious. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty quiet. There's nobody outside. They're all inside on their computers and whatnot. You know, the kids, I mean. You know, when I was a kid, we used to, play outside, from sun up to sundown. But the kids nowadays usually are on the computer a lot. And that's sad, in my opinion. But then it makes it for a quiet neighborhood, And I don't need any more aggravation or anything like that. I like the quietness, and I'm trying to get prepared for tomorrow morning. And the project manager guy said that they should be done by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we just got to park the cars further down on the block somewhere where they'll be safe. And so, yep, that's going to be a big day tomorrow. It's going to be lots of new noises for Shayla. That's for sure. And my magnolia tree is growing really well. And I'm so happy about that, because this is also, for my mom. And one winter we had a heavy wet snow, and it snowed so much, over like a couple days, and a bunch of heavy wet snow was on one of the branches and snapped it right off, and so it made it kind of misshapen. It was a branch that's in the back. But here's a robin. We don't want to, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, there's a robin. It's getting its lunch. Yeah. Oh, must have found some good bugs. There you go. There you go, Robin. Yeah. I just gotta keep Shayla still so we don't disturb the robin from eating, whatever bugs they want to eat. There you go. Yeah. It's really going to town. Hi, Robin. Oh, Shayla sees the robin. Yep, she knows the robin is there. Hi, looks like they got a worm. Oh, I lost it. Where is it? Oh, it's on the green thing. There it is. Sorry about that. There you go. There you go, Robin. Alright, well, we're going to go back inside. I think I'm going to make some scrambled eggs with some spinach. I think we have spinach still. If not, I know we have red and green and yellow bell peppers cut up, so maybe I'll do that if we don't have spinach. And cheddar cheese. And Shayla likes shredded cheese. And we put a little sprinkle in her doggy dish. Yeah, if she's a good girl. Yeah. Yeah, she's a good girl. I think there's supposed to be like a village picnic today, and I'm 2 blocks away from the village. And they're supposed to have food vendors there, and they all have music and whatnot. I typically don't go to it because I just, I have food at my own house. I don't need to go, buy anything, and sometimes the music that they have is not my taste. And I think they also have a carnival then, but I don't hear any of the noise. So I don't know if they rescheduled it or I have the wrong day. What is going on? What do you smell? Shayla, we're gonna go in, okay? Let's go in. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I don't know if we're gonna plant anything here. I don't know. We may just keep them, empty. I don't know. I have 2 boxes of like solar lights too for the yard, so that's something that I would like to put together and put out, but maybe after the roof is done and after the new gutters are put on, because I just don't want those to get damaged. We'll have to move these further out in the yard away, because when they go to tear off the old roof, they're just gonna do it quick, and they're gonna, they'll have some tarps down, but I remember with the other roof installation that they smushed one of my Asiatic lilies in the front, and it's still struggling to get back to quote-unquote normal. The other 2 didn't get squished, but one, was snapped off, and it's half the size of the other ones. I think I took videos of it, in the front when I did videos in the front of the plants that I have there. So, yeah. All right. No, don't eat any rabbit poops. When we get another rain, then I'll try to pull some weeds here. They always grow up in between the patio bricks, and I told Nathan years ago, I'm like, when you pull the weeds, and that's the time to spray something, to try to, keep them at bay. And he's never listened to me. So he has to, he's like, oh, I should have pulled those weeds. He lives his life, that with the shoulda, woulda, coulda mentality. And it's like, I'm more of a, well, let's do this before this happens, So maybe we balance each other out. I don't know. But anyway, he's trying to get some more sleep because he's got to get, I think he said he's got to get 600 points, and I forget how many trips he has left to get for this quest bonus that he signed up for through Uber Eats. So, and just a reminder, if you use these food delivery services, make sure you give, a good tip to these Uber Eats and Grubhub and, I don't know what other I forget the other names, but, make sure you give them a tip, because, they're working hard, and they don't get paid a lot, so those tips really, really matter. And, unless, of course, they don't do a good job, then don't give them a good tip. But, the robin is back. The robin is back. The robin saw you, Shayla, and said, I'm out of here. Did you see that? Oh, yeah, the sun is coming out. All right. I'm going to try to get some scrambled eggs going for Nathan, so he has something nutritious to eat, because he thinks, I'll just eat a protein bar and a bagel and a banana, and he thinks, and he thinks that's enough, and it's like, no, that's not sufficient. So, all right, Shayla, we're going to water these tomato plants, and then we're going to go in. My citronella incense stick is almost done, and the gnats are starting to come towards my eyes. So that's another indication that we may have rain coming, because the bugs usually come out when we're going to get rain. So, all right, everybody. And, this is just water, by the way. This was, it was a couple of years ago. It was vinegar and soap. I forget what for. But anyway, there's no vinegar in there. It's just tap water. And so we're going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to get back inside because it's starting to get hot. It is starting to get hot. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great day or a great night. And thank you for watching my videos. If you would be so kind as to like my video. And if you haven't seen my previous ones, if you have a chance, take a look at those and like those too. And if you would, subscribe to my channel. All those are free. And, oh, we see a wasp over by the yellow rose. Maybe that's what she was sensing was over there. And she tries to eat any flying insect too. It's like, bees, wasps, flies, and it's like, no. One night when we were out here at dusk, there was a lightning bug, and it flew up right by her, and she tried to eat it. And I'm like, no, Shayla, that's yucky. Yucky, yucky, yucky. All right. Oh, yeah, see, Cassidy, my previous dog, she was a black lab terrier. She loved to sunbathe. And my American Eskimo boy, Snowball, loved the shade and the snow. He was a character, and so was Cassidy. They were brother and sister. They grew up together. So, but yeah, we have a lot of pine cones and twigs and branches and, pine cones and stuff to burn in a fire pit as soon as we have like a free evening to do so. It may be just me out here by myself. I don't know. But, Nathan was like, oh, I'm going to go to the Democrat, meet up with the Democrats in his township, and they did canvassing yesterday for one of their candidates. And so he did that he left here at about like 9:30, and they were supposed to meet at 10, I think, or something like that. And then he was out there for quite some time. It was like 4 o'clock when he called me, and he said that he was eating, a snack, and then he was going to go Uber. And I'm like, Nathan, what's going on? And he had wanted to stop at the condo to help his mom, with some of her clutter. And because they're almost done with the fireplace restoration, and his building is the last building to be done in the complex. And there was a big delay because there was a 6-week delay for an electrician. So, and Nathan took pictures of what the guy did, and one of the pieces is like right up against one of the other pieces. I don't know what they're called. And it's like, he said, oh, and there should be like a space there, but there isn't any space. So, this is how I'm going to have to leave it. And Nathan's like, that might be a hazard. So he let the project manager know, and sent her the pictures. And she's like, oh, So when the fire marshal comes out, they may say, nope, you can't have it this way. And so that'll be even more of a delay, which means there'll be a delay of Nathan putting down, I think he's putting down vinyl flooring is what he and his mom decided on. And if it's anything but carpet, the resident has to have the approval of the association board. And they don't meet at all this summer. They meet again, I think, in August. So hopefully, things will be done with the fireplace so that Nathan can, have whichever company or contractor he's going to hire to do the flooring, But until then, there's lots of stuff that has to be either donated or just thrown out outright, and his mom is wanting a new couch, you know, and Nathan's like, where is all the money going to come for this? She sure as heck doesn't have the money. You know, so she's making all these demands on Nathan, but she doesn't realize that things cost money. A lot of money, you know? So, oh, a bird just flew overhead. All right, we're going to go inside now. I rambled on long enough, probably way too long. All right, have a great day, everybody. And I hope that you all are happy, healthy, and safe. Bye for now. Say bye, Shayla. Say bye, everybody. No, don't go sniffing in there. There's a spider web in there. I remember Cassidy, she sniffed out a spider web in the grass, and she got bit on the nose, and she had an allergic reaction to it, and her whole face swelled up, and she was having a hard time breathing, and we had to go to the emergency vet, and they had to give her a shot, you know, and then we had to follow up. It was on a weekend, of course, when the regular vet was closed. And so then on Monday morning, we had to take her to the regular vet for a follow-up. So yeah, they had to give her like Benadryl, you know, and some shot to, you know, help her with the swelling and stuff. And she was fine, but it was pretty scary. Yeah, it was pretty scary, and I don't want that to happen to you. No, no, no. Yeah, because I didn't keep Cassidy and Snowball on a leash, you know, but I feel that I need to with Shayla, because there are a couple of spots where she could wedge herself out if she wanted to chase after a bunny, you know, or a squirrel, you know. We've tried to, you know, make sure everything is low to the ground and everything, but, you know, oops, sorry. Oop. So anyway, but yeah, that's why I keep her on the leash as well, because I don't want her putting her nose in a spider web or eat, you know, some other yuckies, because she finds them. She sniffs them out. Don't you, Shayla? What are you looking at now? All right. Oh, now it's a little not so sunny. I guess it's what you call partly cloudy. And there's a chance of rain. You know, being a meteorologist is like a good job to have, because even when you're wrong, you know, you can just blame it on, you know, Mother Nature. You know, oh, there's a wind shift. Oh, you know. So, and there's a few dandelions that are popping up, but it's not like some of the yards in my neighborhood. There's one yard in particular where it's like nothing but dandelions and weeds, and they don't cut their grass, you know, on a regular basis, so it gets to be quite high, you know, and it's a corner lot. So my village, you know, there's ordinances in place, and, you know, one time the code enforcement guy was driving around my neighborhood, and he stopped, and he was going to write me up, and I said, you know, excuse me, sir, you know, what seems to be the issue? And he's like, oh, well, your grass is about an inch higher than what it is supposed to be. I'm like, what? And it was when we had like a bunch of rain too. And it's like, well, we just had like consecutive days with, you know, heavy rains, you know. Well, you know, you need to, you know, resolve this, and by the next time I come driving around, otherwise I will have to fine you, ma'am. And I'm like, okay. And I forget what the fine amount was. I can't remember what he said, because I inquired. I'm like, well, what's the fine amount? Anyway, yeah, they have nothing better to do, I guess, than to write up people for their lawns, you know. And I remember when, after my dad passed away, that's when I was able to clear out a lot of clutter, and I had a dumpster on the driveway, a big, long dumpster, and I was just clearing stuff out. And so I had some stuff, that I pulled out of the garage and was, going through stuff, so it wasn't, neat and tidy, And code enforcement was driving around and they put a warning in my mailbox. It's like, can you not see what is happening here? It's not like, I have, a toilet sitting in my front lawn and an old yucky, couch, and old car tires that, it's like, come on, get a clue. But they have nothing better to do, I guess. And it doesn't help that I live next door to a previous village trustee who was friends with the mayor, the previous mayor, and so, she probably was one of the ones that called, as well as a couple other ones that I have suspicion that they would do such a thing. It's like, okay, my dad just died. I'm clearing stuff out of the house. Give me a break. And I tried to clean it out when he was alive, and I would be filling up that dumpster with stuff till like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I would go to sleep. And my father would wake up at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because he wanted to get his morning newspapers, that were delivered to the house. And so he would get up then and he would pull all the stuff back into the garage out of the dumpster. And I didn't know that was happening, and I was working, at the time too. So it's like, taking my parents to doctor's appointments and whatnot. And after my dad passed away, he's like, oh yeah, we'd see your dad, pulling stuff out of the dumpster and putting it back in the garage. I'm like, what? Why didn't you tell me this? Because I didn't really notice at first, but then I started seeing. I'm like, why is this back in the garage? So yeah, so I'd be clearing stuff out and he'd be putting it back in. He just did not want to part with stuff, So I've been working on that, and it's still not to where I want it, but it's a heck of a lot better than what it was, So I just, I need time to do that, and my body can only do so much. And here lately I haven't been having a lot of help from Nathan because he's had to do stuff over at his condo, and plus, work, to get some type of money. You gotta pay the bills, right, Sheila? Yeah. Oh, I hear some crowds cheering, so they must have something going on. Maybe it started. It's not as, popular as it used to be. There used to be, I remember, cars parked on the street over from me, and they'd have to put up signs so that people would only park on one side of the street, because they used to park on both sides, and then it was kind of tight for a fire truck and ambulance to get through. So then they, learned from that, and then they would staple signs to the trees, no parking from such and such to such and such, but it's not that popular anymore. So I guess people are on family vacations and stuff, and doing other things. Yeah. Another plane. The plane. Yeah. Alright. I keep rambling. That's because I haven't eaten anything yet. And I'm stressing for tomorrow morning. And it's going to be quite noisy. And so it's going to be hot. It's supposed to be hot and humid and dry this next week. That's coming up, and then it looked like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, the following week, is going to be in the 90s as well. So we're in the summertime. Yeah, we're in the summertime temps, right, Sheila? Alright. I'll sign off again. Sorry for my rambling. Take care, everybody. Bye. Alright. Say bye-bye, Shayla. Shayla. You want to go in? She senses something over there. Alright, I'm signing off now for real. Bye.